Hello and welcome to the Game Design Archive with Edward and Ludwig.
Hello.
Hello. Today we're gonna talk about why we think the game should let us play them.
Yes. Very, very deep.
Yes.
There are several things I want to talk about today at least, but there is one thing that I think is very overrated when it comes to game design communities, and that's tutorialization.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't mean tutorials, because I think a lot of people think tutorials suck. I think that's a very common opinion to have. But like there's this like I think because it's become common knowledge that tutorials suck. I think there's become this trend of like tutorializing the game at the start, like
They're
drip
shoving it
feeding.
into the game instead, so
Yeah,
every time you
exactly.
play through it, you have to deal with it, as
Yeah,
opposed to just having a tutorial that you can just not do the second time.
exactly. So like instead of letting you just play the game, they sort of like drip feed mechanics and they like slowly explain things to you, rather than just letting you play the game and experience everything at once.
Yeah.
And the reason I don't like this is because, as you've said, like let us just play the game.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to play the game. I don't want to go through this like, I don't know, obstacle course. Like it's a hidden obstacle course, right? Because it's like seamlessly integrated into the gameplay, but it's still like very obvious that like, oh yeah, this enemy is here to teach me this mechanic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I wasn't gonna talk about this game in this video because I've been talking about it in like the last 10 videos or whatever. But I think I've been playing Final Fight recently, right? And I think it's a perfectly good example because that game just throws you into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the consequence of that is, of course, that I get thrown into the game and I have no clue what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But my counter argument is that that's fine. Um, and I guess this is sort of like the main point that I want to make by saying this. It's that not understanding how the game works is fine.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like this maybe is like a game designer ego thing where it's like, oh, I can't have a player not understanding my genius, right? I
Mm-hmm.
made this epic scenario or whatever, so I need to make sure the player understands. And I just want to say that it's fine if the player doesn't understand. It's like discovering the depth of the game is part of playing the game, right?
Yeah.
And so just, yeah, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think it ties into something kind of unrelated, which is the fact that a lot of design these days revolve around the first playthrough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like the how the first playthrough is valuable, and so
Yeah.
like if you do it the Final Fight way, which is the arcade way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're obviously not gonna value the first playthrough. That's like the worst playthrough you're gonna ever
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
It's only getting better
Mm-hmm.
from there, right?
Yeah.
So, with that mindset, right, of like you're gonna play this a couple of times because it's not obvious immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
You, as a designer, will quickly realize that you can't have these tutorialization things because people, like imagine you had to play like a tutorial every time you played something like Final Fight, right?
Yeah.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah. Well, even I think this applies to like, because Final Fight is a run-based game, right? It's
Yeah.
like maybe 30 minutes to an hour long, and like you play through the whole game in one sitting if you're good at the game, right?
Yeah, but I mean, even like I mean, you can turn them off. But I was thinking like Elden Ring has this, or like Sekiro has these
Yeah.
pop-ups, right? Where it's like
Mm-hmm.
like they're super, and you can't turn them off. I'm pretty sure, but like so in some games, stuff like that, where it's like it's popping up stuff and like telling you stuff every time, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
let's say it's like the 10th time you play the game or something. It's
Yeah.
like, please get out of my way.
Yeah. That's sort of what I was going to say, but there's one thing that I think needs clarification, I guess, and that's that even if it's your first playthrough, it's like fine. It's fine to be lost because if we take Elden Ring as an example, right? It's like I haven't actually played Elden Ring, so maybe that's a bad example.
No,
but like
I can tell you if you're wrong.
Yeah, but like basically what I'm saying is that you don't need to explain all the mechanics. You can just like let the player discover them on their own. Like even if it's not in a run-based game.
Yeah.
And I think one of the benefits of Elden Ring is that it's a very hard game, right? So the player needs to understand the game to get further.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the player needs to be good at the game in order to progress in the game. And I think that's a very, very like
well, if that's your metric, I'm just gonna say if that's your metric, then every single modern game fails.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Even with their tutorials, right? Because you don't engage with the mechanics.
Yeah.
Because they're not hard enough, right?
Absolutely.
So you don't need to use them.
Yeah, and that's sort of like one reason why like traditional tutorials, like where there's a separate tutorial that you play the first time, like I feel like that's sort of recognized as a bad thing.
Yeah, like a menu option. Like
yeah, exactly.
Tutorial, and then I agree. I think that's better.
Yeah, but the problem that people say that those kinds of tutorials are bad, and the reason for that is that they just like shove a bunch of info on you and then you forget everything. Mm-hmm. But like the problem with those kinds of tutorials is, like you said, most games don't require you to actually engage with the mechanics. So like the reason you're forgetting everything you're learning in the tutorial is because you don't need what you're learning in the tutorial.
Yeah.
It's like maybe until like very late game sometimes. Yeah. And like
no, I think those tutorials are actually totally fine, because like if a lot of the time I will like go into the tutorials and just like maybe not immediately, right? But like later and like okay, so like try to figure out the mechanics, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of this thing where I don't know, like those kinds of tutorials works if you want to understand the mechanics, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't want to understand them, then they don't work.
Mm-hmm.
If that does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like just explain, like, because I agree with you, a lot of designers talk about like, oh, you can't just explain mechanics because they won't get it. And it's partly true. You need to play the game to get it. But some things are just more convenient to explain, right? Or like it helps to have an explanation as well as gameplay, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think just having a normal tutorial like that is fine, right?
Yeah.
If it's like if you can not do it every time.
Yeah, we've talked about Red Pulse before on this channel, right? And I think that's a very good example because it has like a tutorial in the menu, right? And so
does it? I don't remember that.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And so when I played that game, at first I was like, I skipped the tutorial, I just played the game because I just wanted to play the game. And then after I'd done a few runs, I was like, okay, can I go back to the tutorial now and see if there's anything I missed? And there were a few things I missed. And like, I think that's a very good point because that's like a way better way to teach something in a way. Yeah. It's like you let the player experience the game first, and then you like give them the option to say like, okay, what did I miss?
Yeah.
Because like when you're playing the game for the first time, you have no clue what the game is like, right? Yeah. So you don't know which mechanics matter or which ones you need to focus on.
Yeah, I mean, you probably still don't when you do the tutorial.
Yeah, but like
it helps for sure.
Yeah.
Like you maybe miss that you can like slide or something, right? Or whatever in a game or something. And you can't in that, but you know what I mean. Maybe you like miss that you can like you can slide in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
maybe
I
you
guess,
miss that, for example. And
yeah.
So like
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like if I haven't played the game and the tutorial tells me like press B to slide or whatever, my brain will not register that. But if I have played the game a little bit and the tutorial says press B to slide, I'll be like, oh wait, that might be useful in like this scenario that I died in or whatever. And so like having that context is very important to like teach the player the game in a way.
So I have a question for you, because I didn't play that tutorial, but I played the tutorial in Bogo's other game, which is Gunvein. And one thing I really like, because that also just has a tutorial in the menu. And one thing I really, really like that he does with these tutorials is that it does not continue until you do the thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Gunvein is a bullet hell shoot 'em up game, right? It throws not an impossible pattern, right? But it throws a kind of hard pattern at you, right? Relatively speaking, right? And you need to execute he explains different kinds of dodging and stuff, right? And you need to execute it correctly for you to be able to dodge the pattern, right? So you can't continue without, I mean, in quotation marks, understanding what you're supposed to do, right? So my point is like, it's not this safe space where it's like, oh, you look here, you go, you can just. It's like, no, you're gonna it's gonna kill you until you do it correctly, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it doesn't work, I think, right? I don't know if you agree. Like it needs to.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on what kind of mechanics it's teaching, right? It's hard to apply to everything, right? Because this works very well for action stuff, but maybe I mean, I guess you would need it in.
Well, actually, I do have one thing I want to bring up there.
But before you bring that up,
yeah,
does Red Pulse do the same?
I think so. I don't remember, but there are a few things at least where it's like you need to do the thing to like get past it. But I don't think there's like any difficult enemy encounters or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's
the point.
But yeah. So the point about action games, I guess, there's a genre which I'm pretty sure you're gonna agree with me when I say this, and that's RTS. You know, people always say that the RTS campaign is a good way to learn playing an RTS.
Yes.
And that's like the most delusional wrong thing ever, right?
Yeah, I guess it depends on if your goal is to play games like the campaign.
Yeah.
Right. So if all the game is a campaign, then yes, that is a way. But if you're what you're saying is if your goal is to play multiplayer, like competitive, right? That's what you're saying. Like you're playing StarCraft and you want to play competitive StarCraft, and then they tell you to play the single player to get good, right?
That's specifically what I think of. Like I've actually heard people tell me that. And like that's just like plainly wrong. It's like the campaign doesn't prepare you for like playing multiplayer at all. Like the disclaimer here, I absolutely suck at StarCraft. Like I'm not good at it, but like I played a bit of the campaign and then I played a bit of multiplayer, and like nothing I did in the campaign like prepared me at all. Like I have no idea what I'm doing in the multiplayer, right? And I feel like it's sort of related to this because like to what you're saying about like safe tutorials in a way, right? Where it's like, oh, the tutorial like tells you what you can do, but like it doesn't have any like expectations on you as a player at all. And I think that's the problem with RTS tutorials. RTS campaigns, I guess. It's that like, oh, you're like doing the stuff in the game. You're like building buildings, you're controlling your units, but like it's not requiring you to do it at the like insanely high level that it's required in the multiplayer, and so the like experience you have from the single player campaign is completely useless, basically. Like not completely, right? Because I guess you get to know what buildings do or whatever, but like which buildings are worth building you have no clue about, because like that's completely different in the campaign versus in the multiplayer, right? And yeah, like I think that's a very common mistake that tutorials do, where it's like, I'm supposed to teach the player how this works, so I'll go very easy on the player. It's like you should do the opposite. If you want the player to learn the game, you should make the tutorial super fucking hard, right?
You're right, but not like. I mean, it still needs to be manageable and isolated, right? So it can't be like, oh, by the way, here's the last boss of the game.
Yeah, of course. Like, it shouldn't be harder than the actual game, I guess. But like, it should prepare you for the game.
It should work as the game, but maybe like. It can be a little bit isolated, right? Too, like because so one genre I think that doesn't fit this completely is puzzle games, right? Because puzzle games are actually inherently like you value the first playthrough, right? Because you've solved the puzzle. So there it kind of works to do tutorialization, but it's not. It's sort of not tutorialization in that way, right? It's because like it does, like, because that's not really tutorialization, and that's fine in other games as well, where you separate mechanics, right, and then you bring them together later.
Yeah,
that works. It works less in run-based games, but it still works in, like, if it's just a normal game, it works. I think.
I think the main thing about many puzzle games is that, like, understanding how the game works is the gameplay, right?
Yes.
And so you can't have a tutorial that tells the player how the game works, right? Because then you're, like, defeating the point of the game.
You're solving the puzzle.
Yeah, and so, like, I think puzzle games works better for, like, tutorialization, quote unquote. But because it's not really tutorialization.
Yeah, but it sort of overlaps with, like, let's say we have an action game and there's, like, a skeleton warrior or something, and you the first area is, like, there's a skeleton warriors, and then there's a second area, and then there's, like, skeleton archers. I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's only skeleton archers in the second area, right? So it's sort of like teaching you, right? But then it's not easy. That's not my point, right? It's still hard. It's just not combining its mechanics, right? It's keeping it simple for you so you can, simple but not easy, right? So you can learn the mechanics.
Yeah.
And then it's in the third area, maybe it'll do, like, skeleton warriors and archers. Ooh, right? And then you're screwed because then you need to think about two things. So design like that works a lot. But that's not, I don't think that's what you're talking about like this, right?
No.
It's, like, way worse stuff where it's like, wow, I need to build something, I don't know. Like one of those games where you have crafting or something. It's like, oh, I need to craft this. And then it's like, go over here and get this thing. And it's like...
And there's, like, exactly the items you need on the ground and, like, stuff like that. And I think one other point I want to bring up about those kinds of games, I don't know if I have an actual example. I'll see if I can come up with one. But there's a lot of games that, like, actually turn off mechanics.
Yes.
Until like you've learned them. And I feel like that's super, super duper lame.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have an example? I can't come up with any. Like off the top of my head.
That is super lame.
No, but, like, that does the thing where they, like, turn off the mechanics.
Yeah, I have one which is gonna make you very sad because it's a very good game. And it's Dicey Dungeons.
Ah, true.
Dicey Dungeons tutorial, which I think there's a video of Jonathan Blow criticizing it or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I agree with him there. Where like it's rigged RNG and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, he doesn't trust the game, is what he says, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
To me as well. Like that tutorial doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
The game is really good and you don't only have to do that once, but that tutorial is really bad, actually, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, it is an interesting point though too, like, because that game has a lot of RNG. I don't know the correct approach there, right? I definitely don't think you should rig the RNG. I don't think that's the correct approach to teach someone how to play RNG based game. I don't know.
I honestly think it would be fine, like, to not have a tutorial at all in that game because it's run-based, right?
Yeah.
And so,
but
if
you want one, right? If you want it.
Yeah.
Or like maybe you could just explain the mechanics or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like, having, like, a tooltip or something that pops up or something would probably be better because I agree that tutorial is pretty bad. But, like, going back to what I was originally saying, I'm thinking more. Maybe it's something that's more common in, like, strategy games and RPGs. I feel like a lot of RTSs perhaps do this. Where it's like the mechanics actually aren't there, right? It's like if you have an RTS where there's, like, 2 resources, like the first tutorial mission will only have 1 resource, and then the second tutorial mission will, like, introduce the second resource.
Yeah.
And it's like that kind of stuff I find really lame.
Yeah.
And I think I don't really know why. I think maybe it's just like this, that it's sort of like drip feeding everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now you've learned this thing. Okay, now we can move on to learning this thing. And it, like, becomes very like infantilizing. Is that the word? Where it's like, oh, you can't handle this complex stuff, so we need to like introduce it like piece by piece. And I just find that really lame. Just like give me everything and then like let me figure it out, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard
I
because
think like
there's like a fine line there where I could see that kind of working if it's isolated and like, because if it's like trying to teach you some part, like if we apply to action games, right?
yeah.
It's not so like the game is like, let's say it's a pure tutorial, right? So it's not in the game, and it's like, no, you need, let's say it's like you need to, so let's say it's a shoot 'em up game where you have bombs or something, so you can blow up all the bullets, right, or whatever. But no, the game is teaching you how to move out of the way or something, right?
Yeah.
Then obviously it's gonna block you from using the bombs.
Yeah.
So like it makes sense to turn off mechanics, but I kind of get what you're saying, where it's like an entire mission in the campaign where you can only build like one unit or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of the thing I'm talking about. I think actually that's a very good example. I think the Dawn of War games do that, right?
Yeah, maybe I remember.
The RTS games. Yeah. They're like, I think in the first missions you can only build like Space Marines or something like that. And like I find that really, really lame. It's like even the first playthrough, because obviously like if you're doing several playthroughs, you'll know the game, and so it'll be even more lame that you can only build Space Marines. But like even in the first playthrough, there's like something super lame about the game being like so limited in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's harder
because
you go ahead.
Yeah, like I think the Dawn of War games are like an especially bad example because it's not like just a tutorial. It's like several campaign missions in. It's like you don't get to build what you want. You just have to build Space Marines basically.
Yeah, so there's no strategy, right? Like, or like the game is forcing a strategy or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's harder to do tutorials for strategy games because they're slower paced, right? Because in action games it's more like, oh, you need to test this mechanic, right?
Yeah.
So it's more, I don't know what the word is, but you know what I mean, like where execute this sequence of,
like the player that needs to know how to execute something. Yeah.
Whereas with mechanics, I feel like the wiki style works better, right? Where like you just like, if it's a very heavy strategy game, for example, or like, I mean, we talked about this before the show, right? Where something like Minecraft or something, right? Yeah. Where you have there's a lot of information and not execution stuff that you just need to learn. Yeah. And in those cases, it's really hard to tutorialize, I feel like. And I think the correct approach in a game like that is to like have a wiki, right? Yeah. A lot of them don't, right? They rely on external wikis, which works, I guess, but it's nicer if it's inside the game. I think you mentioned like it's one of the Paradox games that does that well, right? It's like Crusader Kings or something. Yeah, like I think all Paradox games are pretty fine with that. Yeah. The thing with Paradox games is that they don't have wikis. Yeah. I don't think so, at least. I mean, there has to be a wiki externally, though. Right? Yeah, there's an external wiki, but like the thing about Paradox games is that they have like really, really good tooltips and like really, really good information. Right. Well, that's so sort of a wiki in the game. Yeah, yeah. So you can actually like figure out how stuff works by just like hovering over stuff. Like if you want to know why you're making X amount of money per month, you just hover over the like money counter thing, and it says, oh, here are like, you get 0.2 from this and 0.3 from that, and like stuff like that. Yeah. And so you can very easily like deduce your way into like, oh, why does this work this way, and stuff like that. And so you don't really need a wiki because the game has like very good information in the UI. Yes. That is, which is another alternative, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's also a good point. That because I feel like more games that are more inspired by the RPG side, right? Yeah. I feel like they are the worst at this, where they'll have tutorials about random mechanics, right? But they'll not, like, you'll have like, I'm playing RPGs, especially, you know, like JRPGs or whatever, right? Where it's like, oh, you have like 15 stats or something, maybe not 15, but you know, 10 stats, and it's like I have no idea what any of them do, right?
Yeah.
Maybe some of them I like, oh yeah, I know what damage does or something.
Yeah.
But they don't explain anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's sort of also like a design philosophy that I disagree with, right? Where it's like they're trying to
Yeah.
obscure what the mechanics do, which also doesn't
Mm-hmm.
make sense, because why do you have these stats if you don't want the player to know what they do? It's actually
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah. I think JRPGs, like it's generally a problem in RPGs,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
think JRPGs in particular are especially
yeah,
bad.
yeah, yeah.
Because like I've played JRPGs where it's like, oh, this weapon does a lot of damage, and this weapon does mega lots of
Yeah,
damage, and this
okay.
does ultra lots
Yeah.
of damage, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
So I have to look at the wiki, and it's like, oh, this does 3 more damage. Okay,
Yeah.
well, like,
Well, I've played
yeah,
games where it's like, oh, there is not like, you can't find the information even because like maybe it's not as popular or something. So the wiki is not like, you don't have all the details. So it's like this stat, I don't know, whatever it's called, like it has some generic, attribute name, you know what I mean, right? And it's like, it could do like this or that, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like speed, let's say speed or something, like it could be that, oh, that affects turn order or something, I don't know, right? I have no clue.
Yeah.
And the game doesn't tell me, and I can't look anywhere in the game to figure out what it does. But then they still have, the troll stuff, so I don't know.
Yeah, I find that very weird. Like as you mentioned, it doesn't really make any sense because like the fun part of an RPG is like doing the number crunching, right?
Yes.
And like getting the epic build or whatever, and like obscuring that information makes no sense whatsoever.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's a problem with RPGs in general, and like I think RPGs can learn a lot from Paradox games there because like
I think
Paradox
strategy games in general, Paradox most, yes, but strategy games in general are better at explaining their mechanics because they understand that the games are about strategy, right?
Yeah.
Whereas RPGs are technically strategy games, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But they act like they're not, and it makes them really bad, actually. I don't know if you agree, but a lot of RPGs are actually really, really, really bad when it comes to like mechanical stuff.
Yeah.
And they could be really interesting because I like the concept of like turn-based combat, right? In like the JRPG style combat, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that concept. It's sort of like similar to, like Dicey Dungeons or whatever, right? But it's like Dicey Dungeons is simpler, right? And explains everything. And that's the problem, right? Yeah. There's also the grinding or whatever, but we'll save that for the future.
For another video. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Half-Life?
Sure. Well, there was one more thing before we start roasting Half-Life that perhaps I should talk about right away since we're already talking about RPGs. And that's CRPGs. Now I am an avid CRPG hater, although I am an RPG lover. And one of the reasons, and it goes back to like the main topic of today's video, which is just let us play the game right. And the problem with a lot of CRPGs is that they are so insanely overcomplicated that like in order to actually start playing the game, you need to spend several hours researching what builds are good and stuff like that. And I find that absolutely insane. Because like, why? It's like, whenever I feel like playing a CRPG, I like open the game and I press like new game and I get to like the character creator screen where I get to pick all the stats. And I'm like, oh yeah, right, I need to like actually do homework here and like read a bunch of stuff about what to do best. And it's like, I don't know, because I'm sure there's like a point to the complexity. Like obviously a lot of people enjoy that complexity from CRPGs. So I'm not saying that you should completely remove it, right? But like find a better way to like have me understand what is a good build and what isn't, right?
Yeah, I guess
because I think
that they're so long as well. Like because I feel like that like roguelikes, real ones. There it makes more sense, right? Because it's like you have your run.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how to, so maybe you could like move it further into the game, right? Where it's like
some games do that where they like let you like try a bit of every build and then like make you choose.
Yeah.
But I still think that's like not enough information. And I think the main reason why this doesn't work.
You could also do presets, but I guess a lot of games
Yeah.
do that, right?
Yeah, but like presets aren't fun, right? Because then you aren't making your own build. But
Sure,
but
yeah.
like I think the main problem is that the like class selection screen or whatever you want to call it is like separate from the game. Because like when you're in the game, you can open the character sheet or whatever and you can see what all the stats do and you can see all the abilities you're going to unlock later. And you can like sit there and look, oh, I'm gonna do this and this and that. But like when you're in the main menu and you're just starting the game, it's like, oh yeah, choose warrior, monk, or cleric, and there's like no information about what the warrior, monk, or cleric does.
Yeah.
And so I have to like tab out and go into the wiki to look. And I think that's part of the problem. If they just like provided the like stat sheet or whatever you want to call it for like gave me the information so that I could make an actually informed decision in game rather than having to go out of game to look for it.
Yeah.
I think that would be way better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
That's...
I felt like I talked a lot there.
No.
But like, yeah. I think that's one thing CRPGs could do better.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to do what you told me. I'm going to talk about Half-Life 2. Now, Half-Life 2 gets a lot of praise for being a fantastic game, which I am of the opinion that it is not. It's actually a quite terrible game, and there are several reasons for that, but one of them is one thing that Half-Life is like appreciated for, I guess, and that's the fact that it has a bunch of unskippable cutscenes.
Seamless, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, exactly, the defenders of Half-Life are gonna say, well, it's not a cutscene technically, because it's like seamless, it's part of the game, and so it's super immersive or whatever. The problem with that is that it's super fucking boring. It's like, the beginning of Half-Life is like an hour of just sitting there and listening to like Dr. Breen or Dr. Kleiner or Barney or whatever, just talking, and you never get to play the game. And I feel like if Half-Life started with a bunch of skippable cutscenes, I would have been way more inclined to actually play that game.
Again.
But like as it is now, it's like I need to sit through an hour of like pure boredom and pain before I actually get to move around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess the problem is that it kind of almost sort of works the first time. But then if you ever want to replay it, it's not nice.
Yeah, like that's another point, right? The replayability becomes atrocious because like when you're doing it the second time, you need to sit through that again and you can't skip it. But like even the first time, it's boring, right?
Yeah.
And obviously,
like my so like what am I trying to say? Like there's ways around it without making it cutscenes. Like you could do it like Souls, for example, where you talk to Souls basically doesn't have a lot of talking, right? But when you do, you just walk up to someone and you talk to them. But you never have to talk to people in that game, right? But I guess technically maybe sometimes, but you can always like click through the dialogue or whatever, right? And just not care about what they're saying.
Yeah.
But obviously there's more story in Half-Life, so maybe it's not as easy to do it that way, because it's like, don't you have to like stand in line or something in the beginning? And like,
you have to.
Like
and then there's like in Barney's lab, you need to go into his teleport or whatever, or his name is not Barney, but whatever. It's like you need to go into the teleporter and stuff. So there's stuff you need to do.
And it's I mean, I get why it's cooler that you're looking around or whatever, but I guess just make it skippable. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the argument obviously that people who like Half-Life have is that it's more immersive, that you're like in control of your character while the cutscene is happening.
I mean, it kind of is, but...
Well, yes, but also there's a very big problem with this, and that's that, when I'm in Dr. Kleiner's lab, I'm super bored, so I just start like jumping around and throwing stuff around and like doing a bunch of weird shit, and nobody's reacting whatsoever, and it's completely immersion breaking, right? Yeah, which like, sure, you could say that's my own fault, but it's like, that's sort of a problem that arises from the cutscenes being structured that way, in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's they could be structured that way as long as you could just there's like you press escape and you can like skip or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you can like
Yeah,
skip
like
the talking and then it just continues the game.
Yeah.
Uh,
The thing with Half-Life is that you would like go from, getting off that train to like getting the crowbar, which is like an hour jump.
Yeah.
If you skipped everything. But yeah.
I mean, would be
You could do just less cutscenes also.
Yeah.
Especially like as front loaded as it is in Half-Life 2. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wanted to talk about Jonathan Blow, right?
Yeah, I guess he's related to this thing. We talked about this before, where Jonathan Blow, in the 2 games he has out on Steam right now, right? He has obviously made more games, but like the more popular ones, you could say, or something, which is Braid and The Witness. He seems very adamant about never like there is no menus in those games. I mean, you can bring up a like menu when you press escape or something, but when you click play game, The Witness has like a setup thing or something, right? But when you get into the game, you're like in the game, and obviously you might not have to do it exactly that way, but I feel like that's super like underappreciated how much he respects the player's time in terms of like, here you go, play, right? You're like just in. I feel like a lot of games, like you talked about splash screens before, for example, or you mentioned it beforehand, right? Where it's like, okay, here's the logo for this, here's the logo for that, blah blah blah, and it's like, before the game launch, it's like, and then you get into the menu or something, and it's like, whoa, fancy menu animation, and like it takes like even technical reasons, like a lot of modern games, I don't play any of them, but like a lot of the modern shooters like Call of Duty and Battlefield, like the new ones, their time from I click like play to I'm on the ground in a match is insane.
Yeah, it's like several minutes.
It's actually insane. I do believe that affects, like, because I think there's been like studies made on like that people how do you say, like they interact more with things that react faster or whatever, right? Like websites and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think this must have like a impact, right?
Yeah. Like,
because it's not like, oh no, it took some time to start. It's like you need to, like, you can go like make a bag of popcorn and come back or something while the game starts. It's insane.
Yeah, I actually had a conversation with someone I know about this. It's like, to start the Battlefield 6 single player campaign, I haven't played Battlefield 6 for the record. I don't know, bad. Whatever. But like, to start the Battlefield 6 campaign, you need to start Battlefield, okay? And that takes like maybe 3 or 4 minutes, like unironically 3 or 4 minutes, to like load the game and start the game and load the anti-cheat virus stuff, whatever. Okay. Then you get to the menu, and then you need to like navigate the menu, and it's pretty slow or whatever. And then you press campaign. And you know what happens?
It probably quits the game to launch some other...
Yes.
Yeah.
The game shuts down to launch the single player version of the game, which takes maybe 3 or 4 more minutes to load until you get to the single player menu, and then you can press start game. It's like, that's actually insane, and it's like, the devs don't have any respect for the player's time whatsoever. It's completely insane.
Yeah. They probably... I mean, even on beefy PCs, I think it's not justifiable, right? It's probably bad there as well.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, like...
It's like, especially because it can load quickly, like it's physically possible, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, the problem is that what it's loading, right? Because, like, obviously if it's loading, like, a lot of very high risk, stuff, it could take longer. But, I mean, it should depend a bit on, like, what... in my opinion, they should set it up in a way. Obviously, this is probably not how it's set up, but this should set it up in a way where it like knows that, oh, this guy's playing in 1080, so I don't need to load the 8K textures or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And also, it shouldn't load the multiplayer, right? To then turn off the multiplayer to then load the single player. Things like that. But it's probably as well a lot of like dumb stuff, like you said, the anti-cheat and like connecting to some server, or there's a bunch of crap going on there.
Yeah. And then there's like, or did you want to say something? Yeah, and then there's like the fact that the menu is like super confusing, right?
Yeah.
It's like finding what you want is super hard, and like there's a store that's like advertising to you in 4K, and like all of like the play game button is very hidden, but the like buy skins button, that's very easy to find and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me how people can play these games, because they are so hostile to the player, right? They're like you said, it's clearly like unironically, like you said, it's clearly like, oh, here you want to buy a skin, go ahead. Like, it makes it really easy for you to just launch and buy a bunch of skins and then turn it off, right?
Yeah.
Not even playing, like they don't care. Just spend the money and leave, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how people put up with this stuff, actually.
Yeah, no, it's insane.
Because I don't know, it's funny because like, I mean, I don't play Battlefield anymore, but if I did, I would play an older Battlefield, right?
Yeah, I would play like Bad Company 2 or something.
But for some reason you can't do that because it's old or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I haven't launched an old Battlefield in a while, but I did launch like an old Call of Duty like a year ago. I think it was for an episode. We were talking about like Call of Duty Zombies, and I played like World at War. And we're talking about this, right? It's like, oh my god, it's insane, they launch so slowly. But even with that knowledge, I was like shocked. I was like, I clicked the thing, and then like the music started and the menu was open. I was like, holy shit! Like the game was just there instantly, and the menus were snappy, and it's a list so you can find stuff. Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it's a bit insane.
Yes.
There was or did you want to say something?
No.
Yeah, there was one thing that I like came to think of that I guess we hadn't planned bringing up today, which is related to the subject, and that's like battle pass stuff and daily quests, which I think it fits into like the subject of the episode, which is let me play the game, because these things are like directly like hindering people from playing the game. Like, obviously I don't care about daily missions, right? Yeah. But like there are people that do, and like that that impacts me as well. Yes. If like someone on my team is trying to do the daily mission,
road kills or something.
Yeah,
it's not playing, just stupid. Doing that.
Yeah, it's like they're not even trying to play the game, they're just trying to do the daily mission, and like it actually interferes with my like gameplay experience, or whatever you want to call it, which I find super insane. It's like, just let me load into the game and like play the game, and don't make me get a bunch of road kills in Battlefield or whatever. It's like it's not fun. It's not.
It was like even worse stuff. It was like,
oh yeah,
I don't know, maybe it was 4, I don't remember, but it wasn't daily challenge. It was like
to unlock skins and stuff.
No, I think it was like the DLCs had like weapons unlocked tied to challenges.
Oh yeah,
it was
something like
super
that.
Annoying.
Yeah,
because that was like, because their argument was that, oh no, you can't, because it would be pay to win if you just got them, right? So then they were like, oh, you need to do these challenges, but they were like not win games. It was like do
stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily I don't play many games that have daily challenges, but like I've tried a few of them out, and they're always like super stupid stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
And people really care about that, like daily challenges and stuff, which I think is really weird.
I mean, it sort of makes sense because being like there, because okay, I'm gonna be super negative. We're never negative, but I'm going to be super negative for a moment. Most modern multiplayer games, gameplay-wise, are absolute trash.
Yeah.
Right? There is nothing interesting going on, especially the competitive ones. There's like the competitive shooters from 10 years ago are 10 times better than the ones from today, right?
I mean, you could go like 20 to 30 years
Yeah, but you
ago,
could go
even in
10
some
back
cases.
then, and then it's better and whatever. I mean, there is obviously exceptions like Counter-Strike, but that's literally the same game as 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like, you know, the normals, like the popular stuff, right? So the gameplay is not, there is nothing inherently interesting about the gameplay at all. So the only interesting part is the rewards, which mirrors the kind of gameplay you have in an MMO, right? In an MMO, the gameplay sucks, but the rewards are what keeps people playing. And so I think it's sort of intentional, right? Where it's like the competitive games are trying to like, what's the word? Like they're trying to hide the fact that they're actually an MMO, but they are by like, oh no, we're a competitive game or something, right? But it's actually just an MMO.
Yeah.
Which I have, very little respect for MMOs.
Yeah.
There's obviously, you could argue that there's good parts in them, but if it's like, oh yeah, you need to play 1,000 hours to play this good part, like the raiding or something, I don't know.
Yeah, that's. I guess that also fits into the subject, right? It's like, oh yeah, do the grind and then you get to play.
Yeah, like what? Okay, yeah. Like because I've had arguments with people about that, where it's like, no, like this MMO is really cool at like level 100. It's like, dude, I don't want to play to level 100 before.
That's like 60 hours of my time wasted.
No, I don't want that. Yeah. I want that you give me that part now, and we can.
Yeah, exactly.
We can talk.
Yeah.
But people put up with this shit for some reason. I don't know why. I guess they just like having their time wasted.
Yeah.
Yes, that was my negative rant about the daily rewards.
Yeah. About a lot of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else you wanted to?
I mean, you mentioned it earlier, but we can just bring it up again, which is that, ironically, arcade games, right? Like Final Fight, but just in general, because of their business model that everyone hates on, by the way. Which, I mean, it makes sense that they hate on it, but it's kind of funny because you see this a lot, right? Where the business model decides the direction of the games, right? So like, if you look back 10 years ago, it was like the business model was sell maps, so there was like a lot of maps. And the business model these days is like sell cosmetic garbage, so all games look like ass.
Yeah.
But so funny, like it's this funny thing where like everyone will complain about arcade games being pay to win or whatever because you pay with money, right? Coin munchers or whatever. But that created an incentive for the designers to actually make good games, because the business model was make an interesting game, right?
Yeah.
Because
that people wanted to like shove coins into.
Yeah. Or like, because like the argument is like, oh no, it's just dumb hard, but it can't be dumb hard because then no one would put in the coin, right? It has to be like almost dumb hard, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there were arcades that were dumb hard.
No, there's
they obviously
more than like
popular.
I would say like 75% of them are that, but the good ones are not that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like a lot of them are not good. I haven't looked at them all, obviously, because it's before my time, but yeah. But what was my point? Yeah, my point was that because of this, no, not because of this. This is sort of unrelated. Actually, the point I was to bring it to what we're talking about. The point I was gonna make is because these were played in arcades, right, where they had like one machine or something. They did value time a lot. Interestingly enough. So those games like are very, like you said with Final Fight, they could put in a tutorial, but they don't have time, right? Not the developers, like they don't have time to let the player just mess around for 10 minutes because we need someone else on the machine, right? They just want to kill you so the next person can put in their coin, right? Or you the next coin or whatever, right? So you get back in action. So like it's interesting because it got worse when you had more like freedom. Like you get what I'm saying, right? Where it's like home consoles, where it's like, oh no, now you can play at your own, pace. And then it started getting bloated, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's not only for tutorials, it's like for the games as well.
Yeah. I think like gameplay density in general is like
really low
very down. Yeah. Because our arcade games were like overload all the senses, like throw a bunch of shit at the player, right? And modern games are like, oh yeah, you need to grind for 60 hours and then you kind of get to the fun gameplay.
Yeah, it's really interesting actually. If you, I don't know, yeah, maybe that's like Final Fight for you, like that experience, but I think it was like Metal Slug or something when I played that.
Mm-hmm.
People always said stuff like that where it's like, oh, it's just trying to kill you, but like it was such a like eye-opening experience to me where it's like, wait, they just put the good parts together, right? They just removed all the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was such an interesting thing. Like, I mean, obviously everything is not perfect, right? But when you get what I'm saying, it's like, oh, there's a cool boss, and then there's a cool moment, and there's another cool thing, and the next cool thing, and then there's a cool boss again, and it's like, and you play it in 20 minutes or something, right? I mean, I think that game is a bit longer, but you get what I'm saying, like, where it's like you're not really there's no downtime. Which a lot of designers, I feel like, argue for these days, for some reason.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, oh, the player needs downtime or something, which is...
Yeah, like, that's absolutely insane.
I mean, it probably makes sense from a business thing. Like, I think people are that...
Yeah.
I mean, they probably have numbers on why that works, but I feel it's a bit... what's the word? I mean, it goes back to the, like, junk food thing we talked about last time, where it's like... Is it ethically correct to do this? Like, do we want to waste 100 hours of this player's or this human being's life on running around doing garbage, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think like from a maximizing the player's playtime perspective, I think downtime is important because like, you play a bunch of shmups and arcade games and stuff, right? Yeah. And I played a bit as well, and like you technically you can, right? But it becomes very exhausting to play those games for a long period of time because they're very intense. Yeah. And so you like actually need to take a break from the game in order to like not be completely exhausted. And like
I see.
From that perspective, I think downtime is good, quote unquote, right? It's like you need downtime for the player to recover from the intense parts so that they keep playing.
Yes,
but the problem is that keep playing isn't necessarily ethical, as you said. It's like so we're getting the player to waste your time, right?
Yeah, you're saying that like they are trying to figure out where to put like the downtimes you would have when you play Final Fight, where it's like, okay, now I need a break. They are actually trying to figure that out, like where that point is, and putting that into the game, so you don't leave the game, so they can make you spend more money or whatever, right? Is that what you're saying? Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, technically Final Fight does have a little bit of downtime because it has like extra levels that are like really weird, where it's like there's a car and you just punch the car a bunch, and it's like a 10-second long level or whatever. So I guess technically it has a bit of downtime, but it's like it's 10 seconds instead of 10 hours at least, right? So
maybe they thought you needed a break.
Yeah, I mean, in Final Fight you kind of do. That game is intense.
Yeah. I've heard that's an easy clear, by the way, so good luck playing more intense.
Final Fight?
Yeah. Like, no, it's not bad easy, but it's like easy compared to other beat-em-ups I've heard, but I could be wrong.
I think I haven't played it super much, but I think it's pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, all games are hard if you're new, right?
Yeah.
That should be obvious, but it isn't for some people.
Like, I'm not even close to a 1 credit clear, at least. That's... But yeah. I guess... do you have yet another point you wanted to bring up, or do you think we've made our point clear today?
I think we made our point clear.
Fantastic. As usual, I guess, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment. Even if you disagree, we want to hear that too.
Yeah.
And dislikes, of course, if you dislike the video, everything. We just want your attention as usual.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
No, just kidding. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, that's it for
Goodbye.
today. Bye bye.